Hi everyone, welcome back to the next diecast. In today's video, I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale Maserati Quattroporte made by Hot Wheels. I got this model from eBay for around $48 in total, including shipping. I thought that was a pretty good deal because Hot Wheels hasn't made this model, nor have they made 1/18 scale models in general for quite some time now. This is based off the 2004 or 2005 version of the Quattroporte. And 2004 was actually the first year that this particular version of the Quattroporte was introduced. This is the 5th gen version, which was produced from 2004 until 2012. I think there was a facelift around 2008 or so. This is actually the only 1/18 scale model you can get of the 5th generation Quattroporte. And Hot Wheels also made this in kind of a champagne gold version as well. I opted for the metallic blue version because I think it looks fantastic. And Hot Wheels didn't make this model for very long, and today it can be quite hard to find at times. The best place to look would be on eBay, which is where I got mine from. And I actually got mine for a good price. It was mint in box. The car had never been out of its box before I got it. And you can find this model for usually between $30 and $80, depending on what condition it's in and what color you're getting it in. The champagne, I guess, silver version, I keep saying gold, but it's more of like a silver. That version is harder to find than the blue version that I have here, but I think the blue version personally looks better than the silver gold version. And I think in general, this model is fairly well detailed considering its age and other factors, but I think some more details and other build quality issues could be addressed here and there if this model were to be reproduced in some way today, which it more than likely will never be reproduced since Hot Wheels has ditched the 1/18 scale market. And I think the original retail price for these Hot Wheels 1/18 scale cars would have been around maybe $30 or $40, maybe a little bit less depending on which stores they were sold at. I know back when KB Toys was still around, they did occasionally carry these Hot Wheels on 1/18 scale cars. So I'm going to take a close look at this model and we'll kind of see if the details on it hold up to more modern diecast cars in the budget range. So we'll go ahead and start taking a look at the details of the model. We'll begin up here with the front. I think Hot Wheels did do a good job capturing the overall look and shape of the Quattroporte. I think it's an unusual looking sedan, but I think it's also very cool in that sense as well. In the front here, you will see that Hot Wheels did a good job with the headlights. I think they're nice and flush with the body. You can't really see pegs. There are a couple very small ones here, but you can't really see them that well from a far distance, but I guess up close you can kind of tell that they're there. But aside from that, though, the overall look and shape of the lights, I think, looks pretty spot on compared to the real car. There's a bit of a gap between the plastic headlight lens and the metal body of the car, but I don't think that's really a big deal considering that this would have been a budget model when it was first being made. In the center here, you will see this nice looking grille. I think the chrome's a little bit too bright, but it is actually a true see-through grille, so I think Hot Wheels did do a good job with that. And this Maserati badge you see here is actually a separately cast plastic piece on the grille. So they casted this piece and they glued it on in some way. I thought maybe this Trident logo, which is what it's actually called, was kind of integrated into the grille, but it turns out it is actually a separately cast piece that's kind of glued on there. Very cool touch, I think. This badge up here is embossed on there. It's kind of off-center just a tiny little bit, but you can't really tell unless you look at it like really closely. But the real Quattroporte would have that second kind of Maserati badge up above the grille there. And you do get these kind of lower grills down here. They do have kind of this plastic mesh pattern plastic behind it there. Of course, the mesh is not perforated like you would see with the center grille, but I think at least they did do a good job kind of capturing the look of those grills down there. So the paint quality on the model, I would say, is pretty well done for the most part. There is some rough areas kind of here and there, but you can't really notice those unless you look at the car like really closely under certain lighting. But I think the metallic blue looks really nice on this car. The real Quattroporte did come in this specific blue. I don't know what the actual factory paint color was called, but I think Hot Wheels did capture the look of that particular paint color very well on the model here. On the side here, you will see those kind of side intakes on there, or side vents, I guess you should call them. You do have these kind of lower badges on here. They say Pininfarina, I believe. Yeah, they say that. They're just stickers, unfortunately. So be careful when you're kind of cleaning the model that you don't like rub them off. But aside from that, though, at least they do put those badges on there because you would see those on the real car. Taking a look next at the wheels of the model, I think Hot Wheels did a good job with the details on these as well. They do pretty much capture the look and shape that you would see on the real Quattroporte's rims. And a cool feature is that the disc brake actually does spin with the wheels, and the caliper does stay stationary. For a lot of budget brands, as far as their 1/18 scale models went, you didn't really always see that. You would a lot of times see kind of stationary brake discs. But for these Hot Wheels 1/18 scale cars, they actually did do the proper spinning brake disc and the stationary calipers. And speaking of the wheels, you do have steering on the model, but not suspension, because Hot Wheels didn't do suspension on their 1/18 scale cars. But at least you do get the steering. And then taking a look back here, you do have the Maserati Trident symbol on this pillar back here. That's also just a sticker, unfortunately, but at least from a far distance, it does kind of look like a separately cast piece. But that is the proper place for it, as it would be on the real car. Taking a look at the back of the model, I think Hot Wheels did a decent job with the overall look and shape of these taillights. Aside from that, though, you do have kind of these two obvious pegs in them. I think they could have at least maybe gotten rid of one of the pegs and just held these in place by a single peg. But there are two pegs there. And even from a far distance, you can kind of see them. But at least the rest of the taillights, I think, look good in terms of detail. Back here, you will see this raised up Maserati inscription, which looks very well done in kind of this chrome. And then you have this chrome piece above the license plate frame, which also looks very well done. And then you have some decently detailed exhaust pipes down here too. Instead of doing them in chrome, Hot Wheels actually did them in kind of a painted silver. Now, in terms of opening features on the model, you don't get an opening trunk, but you do get an opening hood. So we'll take a look at the engine detail next. The hood opens up like so, and it does kind of clip into place when you do close it, which is a cool feature. But there's the hood up, and you can see here's that latch that kind of clicks into place when you do shut the hood. So I think that's a cool touch right there. The engine detailing, I would say, is okay at best. It is just kind of one flat plastic piece. There is some detail here and there, but I think some more, fine detailing definitely would have been welcome. For the main block here, you do have some different like red paint and stuff going on, and a few kind of molded in like wires and stuff. And yeah, there is kind of a small Maserati badge right there, but you can't really see it from a far distance. And yeah, on the real version of the Quattroporte, there really is not a whole lot to see as far as this portion goes. You do have a few different fluid caps here and there. But in terms of kind of the main block area, I think Hot Wheels could have maybe done a better job in terms of kind of the more fine details and whatnot. And yeah, you do have that kind of a Maserati Trident badge right there. And there is some red paint kind of splattered around here and there. Not actually splattered, but painted on. But aside from that, it's all just kind of one black plastic piece. And from a distance, it does look decent, but up close, you can really tell that they sort of cut costs in terms of the engine detail. I think as far as budget model engines go, this one does look okay. And on this model, you do also get the opening front doors as well. I kind of wish Hot Wheels maybe made the rear trunk an opening part or the rear doors, but at least you do get the opening front doors and the opening hood. It was pretty common for these Hot Wheels 1/18 scale model cars, if they were based off of four-door vehicles, to have just the opening front doors and the hood and a sealed trunk. But we'll take a look next at the interior detailing of this model. So taking a look next at the interior detailing of the model, I think Hot Wheels did a good job in general. There are many different textures of plastics here. As you can see, for the floors, they're actually kind of a rough texture of plastic. And from like a far, far distance, it almost seems like they're actually carpeting. But Hot Wheels did in fact make them as plastic floors with kind of a more rough texture of plastic to simulate carpeting. And I always thought that was kind of a cool feature when a budget model manufacturers would kind of put that in as kind of a budget alternative, I guess, to putting actual felt carpeting inside of their models. Taking a look at the center stack and the dashboard, I think Hot Wheels did a decent job with the details on here. I think some more fine detailing would have definitely been welcome as far as that center stack goes. because as you can see, all the buttons are, I think, accurately laid out and everything. They're just not really colored in. That's almost like a feature that like a Motor Max model would have. And I think that wood grain texture could definitely use a bit more fine detailing as well. But I think in general, the rest of the dashboard does look pretty well done. All the vents are nice and molded in there. You have a nice kind of texture going throughout as well. And then taking a look at the steering wheel and gauge cluster, I think Hot Wheels did an accurate job of modeling those as well. And you do actually get that center Maserati Trident badge on the steering wheel, which is definitely a cool touch. Decent detailing on the door panels too. They are, I think, kind of the right or the accurate shape and texture and everything. I think just some more fine details, such as some buttons here and there, I think would have been a welcome touch. Taking a look next at the seats, I think Hot Wheels did an excellent job. The seats, I think, are definitely the right overall look and shape, and they are, I think, the right proportions when compared to the rest of the car. And they actually have a very nice texture as well. They're almost like the real leather seats you would see on the real car. I think one aspect of Hot Wheels 1/18 scale cars is that the seats are always, I think, very, very well done compared to the other details of their models. And it's kind of hard to see, but you do actually have a Maserati badge molded into the headrest back there, which is definitely a very cool touch. You don't really have like seat belts or anything. I don't think Hot Wheels usually put those in on their 1/18 scale cars, but I think in general, these seats look very well done. And then taking a look at the undercarriage of the model, not really a whole lot to see down here. It is just kind of all done in sort of black plastic. The exhaust tips are painted in silver, as you can see. But aside from that, it is just kind of all done in black plastic. But at least I think the rest of the details of the model definitely make up for that for sure. So in general, I think Hot Wheels did a good job with this model. If this were to hypothetically be re-released in the 1/18 scale model car market, I think some additions of certain finer details would have been definitely welcome, such as maybe some more detail in the engine bay and some more detail in that center stack that you saw for the interior. But I think this model would definitely make a unique addition to any collection of European cars, of just modern luxury cars in general, or if you like, exotic cars as well. So if you can find this for a good price, I would say definitely get it. And a good price, I would say, is anything under $60 for sure. Occasionally, you will see listings on eBay for this model that are above $60, but in most cases, you can find this for under $60. And I think that's a good kind of benchmark price for the model. So feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the model here. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.